Hello again, it's Denise, as promised, another video. If you haven't done Pilates, and I know I say this every session, but I'm going to say it again. If you've not done Pilates before and you want to join in, just work at your own level. Don't automatically assume that you're okay to do the hardest level that I offer. So things to think about: never stop breathing. I can't even speak. Never stop breathing. Don't ever hold your breath. When I talk about engaging core, think about this area here, and the easiest way to think about engaging this area is to draw your navel towards your spine. Okay, so let's go. This is your standing setup. I'm assuming that you've done some warming up exercises, whether it's running up and down the stairs or jumping up and down on the spot, a few rotations, a few shoulder rolls, something to just get you a bit warmer than you might be on this cold day. Okay, feet are hip width apart. There should be an imaginary line running from about your second toe, up your shin, kneecap, thigh, hip bones here. Legs long but not locked out, so don't press your kneecaps back. Once you've got your legs long, lengthen up through your spine. Imagine somebody's up there pulling up through the crown of your head. Remember that your neck is an important part of your spine. So once you're standing tall, you shouldn't be standing to attention. Shoulders down, shoulder blades squeezing gently towards each other, not something like this, so it's just a gentle squeeze. Let's think about your lower back. We try and work it in neutral spine where possible. And if this is an alien concept to you, this is how you find it. You put your thumbs above your navel, your fingertips above your pubic bone, the heels of your hands on your hips, and then you look down. If you look down and your thumbs and fingers are in a line vertically, you should have neutral spine. If they are not in a line vertically, you've got to do a bit of jiggling around with this area here until you get them in line. The reason why we use a neutral spine is because it's the strongest position for your spine. But when you get to the floor on your back, you might not find that's possible, but I'll explain that further when we get there. Okay, so breathing in through your nose if you can, and breathing out through your mouth. Try to direct the breath into this area here. If you can't get it, just keep breathing. So take a breath in. And as you breathe out, draw your navel toward your spine. Now, some of you who've been doing this for a while should be able to draw in here, but also draw up your pelvic floor too. But if it's your first time, just think about this area. So once again, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. I'm going to do it one more time, by which time I'll still be in neutral. I've got my core engaged and I'm breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth. Okay, so I'm now going to turn sideways on. I'm going to do a couple of roll downs to get my spine warmed up. If you don't do roll downs because you've got a problem with your back, just make your way to the floor, lying flat on the floor. So here I go. I'm in a good standing position. I take a breath in. As I breathe out, I check my core's engaged. I tuck my chin in so the crown of my head leads the way down. You can either slide your hands or let them hang, but do not press your kneecaps backwards and do not stick your bottom out. So it's like you are rolling off a flat surface. I'm going to do two. The second one is going to take me to the floor. You don't have to go right the way down, it's entirely up to you where you go. Take a breath in when you've got as far as you want to go, breathe out, restack. When you restack, check everything's in place and we go again. So I'd like you to take your hands to the floor this time, and if you're not very flexible, bend your knees as much as you need to. Right, from here, I'd like you to walk forward, and you can go to a high plank or walk forward, bring your hands and your knees to the floor. And then from there, lower yourself carefully to the floor, but I'm going to move sideways because I've got my mat over here. So lower yourself carefully to the floor and then set yourself up. We're going to do an exercise called Star and take it into swimming. So your legs are about hip width apart and they're long on the floor. Your arms are about shoulder width apart or a bit wider. Your shoulder blades are down in your back pockets. Your neck is in line with the rest of your spine. So if you've got your forehead on the floor and this happens, that's no good. Okay, so your neck should be in line with your spine. So the first exercise is really easy. We're just going to extend opposite arm, opposite leg. So check you're in a good position, shoulder blades, back pockets. You take a breath in, ready. On your out breath, engage your core. So I'm drawing my navel towards my spine so that my navel is drawing off the floor and it's going to stay off the floor. So I'm ready to go. Breath in, ready. Breath out, extend, opposite arm, opposite leg. It's not a huge move. Breathe out. Breathe in. One more each side, then I'll just explain a bit further. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Right, I've been doing a lot of reading during this lockdown and a lot of different teachers give you different upper body positions. Some say you should keep your upper body down, so you're just working opposite arm, opposite leg. Others say you can start with your head and your upper chest off the floor and it stays still. Others say you can move your head and chest at the same time as your arm and leg, so it will go something like this. Breath out and in. Out and in. So it's up to you to make your choice what you're going to do with your head and your upper chest. As long as you're going for a diagonal length across your body, it really, to me, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got your core engaged, your shoulders are away from your ears. I'm going to let my head and chest just move with my arm and leg. So I'm breathing out and in. So reaching your fingertips away from your toes. Breathe out and in. Out. So your hand is drawing away from your shoulder. Your foot is drawing away from your hip. And your navel is off the floor all the time because you've got your core engaged and you're keeping it engaged. Okay, take a stretch if you wish. So you just sit back on your heels and stretch your arms forwards. Okay, so you can keep going with that option. If you want to advance it a bit, we work all four limbs coming off the floor at the same time. So check your starting position, check those shoulder blades are down and back. Take a breath in to get ready. Out breath, make sure that core's engaged and extend all four limbs. Breathe in, retreat to the floor. And for this one, for this version, it is important that you do allow your head and upper chest to move as well. So you're breathing out, breathing in. You don't have to stay up. Breathing out, breathing in. So that's option 2. So either stick with the diagonals or stick with all four or join the two together, and that starts you off in an exercise called swimming, but we'll do an easy version. So to do this, you're doing the diagonal movement, but having all four limbs off the floor at the same time. So let's have a go. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. Take a breath in, ready. Check shoulders are down and back. Breathe out, engage your core and float those four limbs off the floor. Okay, just breathe as and when you need to, then you've not got too much to think about. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Opposite arm, opposite leg, and so on. Let's just do one more each side. And then we're going to lower to the floor. Okay, I'm going to take a stretch. So that's your basic swimming action. Obviously, that is the easy version. If you want to carry on with that and make it a bit more advanced, you need to speed up a little bit as long as your body is not rocking from side to side. And if you start to work faster, you can breathe in for the first 5 of those and breathe out for the second 5 of those. But if that's too much for you, moving, breathing and counting, just breathe as and when you need to. So let me remind you of your options. Opposite arm, opposite leg. 4 limbs. 4 limbs, opposite arm, opposite leg. Okay, let's have a go. I'll do the 3rd version, but I'm just going to do 10 of those arms and legs, and I'll probably get mixed up with my counting, so just have a go, any version you like. So I'm taking a breath in, ready. On my out breath, I'm engaging my core and I'm floating off the floor. Here we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And release to the floor. So if you wanted to practice that in your own time, you can speed it up a bit. You can speed it up a bit and take your body and your limbs off the floor, or you can do any of those versions. And now we're going to come onto our side and we're going to do an exercise called, I call it Oyster, some people call it clam, and it can, I'm not saying it will, it can be helpful if you have a sciatic nerve problem. Okay, so we're going to lie on your side. Now if you don't like ear being down on arm, you can always get a cushion in that gap there. So get your legs stacked, your shoulders stacked, your hips stacked, and then bring bent knees forward. So they're still stacked, your hips are still stacked, your feet are behind. Okay, so it's an opening and a closing of that top leg, but it's not an open so that hip rolls backwards. You're not going to disturb your shoulders or that top hip. And you're going to breathe out as you open, breathe in as you close. You keep your feet attached, you're just moving that top leg. So, I'm ready to go. So I'm breathing out, breathing in. Now it's very easy to just waft your leg around, but I want you to do this thoughtfully. So push to open and squeeze to close. Breathing out, breathing in. I'm assuming you've got your core engaged. If you haven't done that already, do something about it now. Breathing out, breathing in. Sometimes when I'm doing this in the studio, I say, imagine you've got a weight resting on your thigh, which you've got to push against to open that top leg. And imagine you've got a balloon there which you're trying to burst. So breathing out and in. Breathing out and in. Out and in. Last one, breathe out and in. Okay, I'm going to try another version, but you don't have to do it. We've done this in class before with feet off the floor, but if you've done this before, try it with feet a bit higher off the floor. It's exactly the same. You're going to breathe out and breathe in. Breathe out and breathe in. If you're trying it and you hate it, take your feet back to the floor. Breathe out and in. You should be starting to feel work around here, but if you've got your feet high off the floor, you'll also feel your buttock working on the bottom leg. Keep those feet up, breathe out and in. 2 more, breathe out and in, breathe out and in. Right, I've got another version which we've not done before, and I've got to think about this very carefully. It's exactly the same, feet on the floor, but you're only keeping your toes attached, not the whole of your foot. So it's exactly the same. Here we go, breathe. This is where your top foot falls off the bottom. So you've got to glue your big toes together. Breathe out. Breathe in. So you've still got to push. Right, if you're trying this, remember it's only the big toes that are connected. Breathe out and in. Breathe, oops, out and in. Last one, breathe out and in. And again, that one will not only work this side, but it will also work your underside as well. So guess what? We're changing sides. So whiz over onto the side. Don't forget, grab a cushion if you need to. So ear resting on arm, get stacked, and then bring your knees forward. So make sure your hips are one on top of the other, shoulders one on top of the other, and your feet are stacked but they're slightly backwards. So here we go. Remember, it's not just opening and closing, going to push and squeeze together. Here we go. Excuse me. Breathing out and in. Push, then squeeze. Push to open. Now you don't have to have this hand on the floor. If you wanted to have it on there, that's fine, as long as you don't allow your shoulder to roll out of alignment. Breathing out and in. So I can feel it already working here. 3 more. Lost count. Let's do it one more just to be on the safe side. Okay, feet off. High feet, not low feet. Okay, exactly the same. Breathing out, breathing in. One more. Okay, let's try. Keeping toes connected but not the whole of the foot. Are you ready? See if you can balance those big toes. Here we go. I just have to think about this one. Three to go. I've stopped counting. I'm absolutely useless. Make this the last one. Okay, right, I can really feel that there. So we're now going to whiz onto our backs and stretch out the bits we've just been working. So, make sure shoulders are on the floor and relaxed. Make sure your neck is long. So slide the back of your head along the mat. Chin drops into its proper place. Let's take one lower leg across the thigh of the upper leg. Now I'm really stiff on this side, so all I'm going to do is put my hand on there and open from there. I'm going to flex my foot. Now if you're pretty flexible on this side, what you can do is pick up the thigh of the supporting leg and use your elbow to press open, but you can also lengthen that leg, but this side my body doesn't like it, so I'm just going to stick with this. So this is the stretch for out here. Don't forget to keep breathing and relax as much as you can. I'm going to change sides, but if you're not ready to change sides, Don't do it. Okay, so lower leg across thigh, just the hand on there, or pick up and stretch. I'm using my elbow now on the thigh of the leg that's being stretched. Remember, try and keep those shoulders relaxed and down onto the floor. We're also going to do another stretch because we're going to be using the backs of our legs quite soon, more than we have done so far. So we're going to do a hamstring stretch. When you're ready, but if you're not ready, don't do it. The leg that we've just stretched, take that up in the air. As long as you can get it, hold behind thigh or calf or even your foot. Non-stretching leg can stay there or lengthen along the floor. If you want to start stretching that as well, flex the foot. Shoulders relaxed. And every time you breathe out, see if you can pull that leg in a bit further. So we're stretching this bit here. The hamstrings go from knee up into your hip. You always have the option for this stretch to bring upper body towards lower body. But if you do that, make sure your shoulders haven't sneaked up to your ears. But you don't have to do it. So you should be feeling a stretch here. If you're ready and you want to change sides, let's change sides. If not, stick with that for a bit longer. Try it with the flex foot because it does work the stretch a lot more. Don't forget you've also got that option on this side, but you don't have to if you don't want to. When we stretch, we're going to stay on our back on the floor. When you're ready, but no rush, come to your set-up position. Feet flat on the floor, hip width apart, shoulders away from ears, arms by your side, palms down. Right, things to check. Feet are hip width apart. If you're not sure what that is, you can do one of two things. Imagine you've got a tennis ball between the inside of your knees, or make a fist, pop your head up, and put that fist there, and that's approximately hip width. When I lie in this position, I've got a big arch in my back, and what we need is neutral spine. So we're going to find it. So you're going to take a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to engage your core, and then going to take your lower back right into the mat. I'll move that arm, then you can see. So there I go. That's one extreme. I'm going to breathe in, keep my core engaged, and take my lower back away from the mat. I'm not lifting my buttocks. So we've got two extremes there, neither of which do we want. So let's do that one more time, and then make it a bit smaller, and then make it smaller, and end up somewhere in the middle. If you want to check if you've got neutral spine, and it's not very scientific, just slide a flat hand underneath your lower back and it should go under without there being loads of space. As I said when I was standing up, we're trying to work in neutral spine, but if your core's not strong enough, you might have to what's called imprint your spine. And that means you don't jam your lower back into the mat, you just take it a bit lower towards the floor so you're not in neutral. But hopefully we're aiming to work in neutral all the time. Right, we're going to warm up our six pack now. So either keep your legs there or bring them to tabletop, knees over hips. You can either have your legs hip width or together, your choice. So you take a breath in, and as you breathe out, check your core's engaged and float on up. This position, I've got my arms opposite my shoulders, palms down, and I'm looking towards my navel. This should take the pressure off your lower back. Your legs aren't moving. You breathe in and lower. Watch again. Breathe out. Breathe in. So when I come up, I'm not pushing from my forearms, I'm trying to use the power in the core to float up. And when I get up, I'm up on the tips of my shoulder blades and again, looking down towards my navel. Right, if you've got problems with your neck, and even if you look at your navel, you still have problems, support your head, keep your elbows wide, and again, you're not pulling your head up, you're working from here. Breathe out, breathe in. If when you come up you end up like this, it's normally because you've been pulling your head up, so please be careful. Let's just do 2 more, either version. And then lower. Take a stretch if you wish, or not. Right, we're going to stay on our back and we're going to do a strength exercise for our core and lumbar spine, and it's called single leg stretch. It's one of the 34 mat exercises that Joe Pilates devised. So I'm going to start at the basic stage and then move on. So go back into your setup position, feet hip width apart. And just before I move on, can I just tell you that this halfway position that we've just done can be a starting position for some exercises, but some of you won't do it, won't like it, and will never do it, but I just need to offer you that option. Okay, basic single leg stretch. I'm in neutral, I've got my core engaged, my shoulders are down and back, my neck is long. I take a breath in, and as I breathe out, I'm going to slide one leg away on a train track. I breathe in, it comes back in. And when you're doing this, slide on your heel. So you're keeping neutral, one leg is still, one leg is moving. So that's your basic single leg stretch. Think about pushing your heel away. Breathe out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in. One more each side. Push your heel away, slide it back in. Are you still in neutral? Have you still got your core engaged? Breathe out and in. Okay, that's the easiest single leg stretch. Let's move to tabletop. So you can either have legs hip width or together. I'm going to work mine together. Next stage, check I'm in neutral. Right, okay. Leg stretching away vertically. Breathe out. Oh, hang on, need to do my heel. Breathe out and in. Breathe out and in. Make sure you come back to an accurate tabletop. Don't let your heels drop down to your thighs. Breathe out and in. Breathe out and in. Right, if you want to advance it, take your leg more forward. Breathe out and in. So you're trying to retain neutral. You're trying to come back to tabletop. If you want it to go lower, that's fine, but listen to your body. And again, think about pushing your heel away. Okay, so I've given you several versions already. Single leg stretch, you've actually got both legs working, but both going in different directions. So let's move on to that. So as one goes away, one comes towards. So if you're doing the basic one, as that one goes, as breathe out, now as that draws in, the other one will go away. Makes breathing a bit more complicated, but don't worry too much about that at the moment. So can you see what I'm doing? If you're in tabletop, as that one goes away, that one comes in. Breathe out. So to make the breathing easy, breathe out for the first one. See, it's coming in, but it's still in tabletop. Breathe in for the second one. It's not the proper breathing. I'll explain that in a moment. Okay, so you've got both legs working simultaneously. What you're going to add now is the leg that comes towards you, a light touch with your hands. Let me talk you through the proper breathing. Breathing out, switch on an in-breath. But if that's too complicated, just breathe out, breathe in. Okay? So that's your single leg stretch. You've got feet down, you've got vertical legs, you've got diagonal, you can go horizontally or lower. But don't forget, you can add on now upper body. So if you wanted to challenge yourself, instead of working up with upper body down, come into that position we were in halfway through our abdominal preparation. So that would be your starting position. You don't have to use it. Right, I'm going to use it to show you. Are you ready to go with your single leg stretch? Take a breath in, think about your heels, think about your neutral. Let's go. So if you've got the head off the floor, you're looking towards your navel. Three more extensions each side. That's one, that's one, that's two, that's two, that's three, that's three. Right, if you've got your upper body upwards, that goes to the floor, then your legs go to the floor and you take a stretch. Okay, I want to do an exercise now called a glute lift. So we're working our buttocks. It's sort of like half a bridge really. So, set up position in neutral, shoulders down and back, lovely long neck. So you're going to take a breath in, on your out breath engage your core and take one leg to vertical. Now if this isn't for you, you can always bend your leg as much as you like, right the way down to tabletop. Okay? So you're going to take a breath in from here and on your out breath, you're going to lift your hips off the floor. That leg's going to stay still. Okay, shoulders are down, both hips up, and then you're going to lower your hips towards the floor but not touch down. Breathe in, breathe out. So the leg that's up in the air is staying up in the air, whether it's long or bent. So you should by now know which glute, which buttock is doing the work. Is it the leg in the air or the leg on the floor? Have you got it? Three more. Breathe in to lower, breathe out to push up. Last one coming up. Lower that leg. If you want, go down and take a rest. In fact, go down and take a rest. So set up the other side. Long leg or bent leg, your choice. Are you ready? Take a breath in. As you breathe out, lift. Bend that lifted leg if you wish. Here we go. Breathe in and out. In and out. Try and keep that lifted leg still. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Are your shoulders still down on the floor? Breathing out as you push up. Three more. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Two to go, I think. Wobbling a bit. And slowly lower. Bring your knees into your chest. And you might want to rock side to side. Okay, from there, hold on, keep tight, take a big breath in. As you breathe out, roll on up to sitting. I'd like to finish off with a spine twist. It's not a side bend, it's a twist. So imagine you've got a pole running from the crown of your head right the way down to the floor and you're going to rotate around it. I'm going to give you a few options of how to do it, so it's up to you. I prefer to do this with long legs, but you might prefer to do it with cross legs or bent legs or wide legs, entirely up to you. So sort out how you're going to sit. Make sure you've got your weight evenly balanced. You're sitting tall, you're in neutral spine, shoulders down and back. And I'm going to give you options for arms. You can stack your arms like that, but don't have your shoulders up. The one so you can't cheat is this one. You have your fingertips under your chin and your thumbs are in towards your breastbone and your elbows tucked in. So you can either be like that or like that. I'm going to do this one, but I can't cheat. So I'm going to take a breath in and lengthen. On my out breath, I'm going to engage my core. In breath, I'm going to rotate. Out breath, come back to centre. Exactly the same on the other side. So when you're doing a twist, your waist stays the same length on both sides. Now if you find this part, the twist is harder than the going back, you could do an out breath there, because you normally try to breathe out on the harder part. So are you trying to go a little bit further each time? Are you finding that when you go in one, say you're twisting to the left, your right buttock is lifting slightly, you're going to try and keep both buttocks on the floor. Okay, so that's one version. Another version is here. Shoulders down and back. Do not bring your arms together. They stay the same distance apart all the time. Make sure you're sitting tall. I'm coming to you this time. Breathe out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in. Now I find it much easier to twist in one direction than the other. Is that the same for you? If you're using this version, if you've tried it and you hate it, don't do it. Go back to your first option. Are you keeping your arms at the same height? Are you keeping your arms the same distance apart? Which breathing pattern are you using? Are you doing a breath in there or a breath out? I think I'm using a breath out because I'm finding that harder. Right, 3 more twists to either side, any version. Are you still sitting tall? Whoa. Okay, relax your shoulders, take a bend. And a bend. This is where one side of your waist gets longer and the other gets shorter. Okay, swing your legs round behind you. Come to your hands and knees. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Shoulder blades back pockets. Chin tucked in for a long neck. Neutral spine. So you might have to go through the extremes again. But make sure when you're doing this you keep your shoulders away from your ears. And then you come to somewhere in the middle. Okay, take a breath in. As you breathe out, engage your core, tuck your toes. Lift your hips as high as you can and then take your weight backwards. Okay. So from here, we're getting hands and feet together. I'm going to jump my feet in, but you might want to walk feet in or hands in. If you're going to jump, you lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward and lightly, not like an elephant landing, and then from there you take a breath in and breathe out and roll on up. You're going to move, feet hip width apart, you're coming up to standing, shoulders drop into place, head drops into place, you readjust all your clothing, and then you're in a good standing position. We haven't done a balance tonight. Well, it is night for me. So you're going to take a breath in and extend. Drop your shoulders down. Breathe out, engage your core, lift both heels. Keep breathing, keep that core on. Okay, slowly take your arms back to your sides. Slowly, with control, lower those heels. Slowly as you can. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for joining me if you have. See you again soon. Bye.